Hi, okay, welcome everyone. So my name is Frankie. I'm from Polytechnic University of Hong Kong. Today, I would like to present a topic what is easy and what is hard to learn English, perspective for Cantonese speakers of English. So within today's session, I would like to I would like to cover several things, including some of the linguistic background information, concerning the Hong Kong context, and I will also show you my research questions. And for sure, I would like to go through something like the methodology and to go with the findings, and based on findings, and then we can have some discussions afterwards. And afterwards, and then I would like to bring those findings into the pedagogical implication step. So let's try to talk about some linguistic background in Hong Kong then, especially like the ESL context. So actually, English is a global language. We can also use English all around the world, or even like in different disciplines, including like for study, for the people workplace communication, or maybe for example, if you need to visit some of the English-speaking countries to pay a visit, for sure we need to use English then, right? Yeah, to be like the lingua franca. For the past 3 decades, so some of the linguists have already claiming that there have been an outcry of declining English standards in Hong Kong then. Yeah. So, and then for some other linguists, including like Chan, they also claim that Hong Kong Cantonese ESL learners face great difficulties in learning morphology, lexical syntax, and semantics of English then. So now, having been an English educated in Hong Kong for many years, so I really will hope that through this empirical study, and then we can try to explore these two research questions then, and hopefully we can find some answers. First one will be like, what's the most common error made by Cantonese speakers of English in their writing, and based on what I've got then, and then hopefully how can we actually tackle the functional morphological problems Cantonese ESL learners have then? So that would be my research goal then. Okay, so now let's talk about like the methodology. So actually, all the data were collected in 2 local secondary schools, in both junior and senior forms. And 40 participants were involved in this study, so including like 20 former students, so aged 12 to 15, and also the former students, aged 16, 17 then. And both genders, the number of the genders are the same, so 10 to 10 then. So in order to reduce any inconsistency then, in our sample collection. And actually those students were selected by the English teachers randomly, and all of the participants are the local Cantonese native speakers then. Actually, the participants can also master English or Mandarin as the second or even like third language, or vice versa. They have been started learning English, their English learning journey, starting from K1 kindergarten. They speak Cantonese, Mandarin, or even some other dialects to their parents, relatives, and friends there. So if necessary, they can use English during the class time, but they seldom can use English outside the classroom then. For example, when they talk to their peers, when they talk to some of the passers by on the street, they would seldom use English then. And regarding my research, so actually 6 pieces of writing were gathered from each participant then. So the analytical data consists of various syntactic structures, including like the simple sentence structure, the compound, the complex sentence structures. All the written classes were conducted during the 40-minute class time there. So if necessary, the teachers will also allow students to use the dictionaries then, during the writing process. Actually, the students in Form 1, would explore, these few genres that including like expository and descriptive writing, while for the senior forms, Form 4 students, they were required to write something like essays, articles, speeches, or even like letters to the editor, because these few genres are stipulated by the HKDSE English curriculum. So maybe I can give you some more idea about the SE exam. So actually, Hong Kong Diploma of Secondary Education examination will be the local high school exam. So as long as they can get the flying color results in the public examinations, and then the students can actually be enrolled to the local or even like overseas universities based on their results. Based on my writing samples then, so 15 types of common grammatical mistakes, right? Were selected based on the error types suggested by Lee then, okay, 2003 study then. And actually, these errors will be commonly defined in the correction codes used in local schools. In order, okay, to reduce the discrepancy, okay, between the markers, okay, standard then. So I conducted the pre-marking standardization in advance. So inviting like 2 in-service English teachers, okay, to get involved. And actually, these 2 in-service English teachers were well qualified. They earned their degrees, okay, in I mean like the BA or even like the master degrees, okay, in TESOL, okay, in both Hong Kong and the UK. Yeah, and they've got okay plenty of years of experience in teaching English then, okay, in high school settings then. In case of any discrepancy, okay, in the markings, and then the third marker with the same coefficient will be invited then. Yeah, so as you can make sure that all the samples, okay, all the marking standard, okay, could be standardized then. Yeah. Okay, so here comes like okay table number 1 then. So the percentage of grammatical errors made by all Form 1 participants. So grammatical errors are relating to verb tenses and subject verb agreement subdivided into grammatical agreement, verb to be, and verb negation comprise over 50% then. So actually, which is like 51%, which is quite a significant amount. And among okay, those 3 subject verb agreement items, grammatical okay, agreement is the most okay, frequent error. And this could indicate that okay, subject verb agreement is regarded as the most challenging item amongst Form 1 participants. The incompleteness of syntactic structure is the next most problematic grammatical error, whereas okay, lowest frequency of error is related to pronoun usage then. So here comes like table number 2, the percentage of grammatical errors made by Form 4 participants. The highest percentage of grammatical errors lied in incomplete sentences, subject verb agreement, ranging from grammatical agreement, verb to be, and verbal negation then. The overall percentage relating to verb tenses and subject verb agreement made by Form 4 participants is 39%, which is far less than the data found in the Form 1 participant sampling group, which is 51%. So if you look at these tables, right, table 3, okay, showing you the differences in the grammatical error distribution and error frequency of the selected 15 grammatical items, which were made by both junior and also senior form participants. Actually, percentage of the total number of errors made by the senior students, so which is here, 34.58%, is significantly lower than the junior form students at 63.18%. So these grammatical items include grammatical agreement, verb to be, verbal negation, and verb tenses then. Among all these items, the error frequency of these 3 grammatical items related to subject verb agreement, including like grammatical agreement, verb to be, and verbal negation in Form 4 group is considerably lower than the frequency in Form 1 group then. So this was a remarkable decrease of 52.35% on average, which is considered to be statistically significant. So comparatively, the difference in verb tense error frequency between Form 1 and Form 2 participants is not statistically significant. So which is here, minus 28.99%, when compared with the grammatical items, grammatical agreement, verb to be, and verb negation. So I would say that based on the findings that I've got from those of the student sample, so the data will align with what the suggestions made by the bottleneck hypothesis of second language acquisition raised by Slabakova in 2013 then. So actually through the application of bottleneck hypothesis, difficulties in employing the verbal inflectional morphemes among Cantonese speakers of English can be well explained then. So she pinpointed that for all languages, the rules of putting together syntactic structures to encode messages are essentially the same. Even though lexical items take time to be acquired and have to be memorized one by one, functional morphology holds the inflectional categories which bear tense and aspect are the hardest to acquire. Functional morphology can carry a considerable amount of linguistic information such as tense, aspect, person, number, modality, case, and forward step. So what you can find from the screen here, these figure illustrates through like a viewer sets up that when one tries to spill as much liquid into the flask as one can, and then actually the liquid cannot come out very smoothly then, simply because of the stopcock device which controls the release of the liquid. So by the same token, according to the bottleneck hypothesis, even if someone has comprehensive grammatical knowledge of the second language, the tight place through which it all flows during production is the small structural words, those containing grammatical meaning and especially inflectional morphemes. So it's evident that, okay, without those morphemes, definitely syntactic structures cannot be created successfully. So therefore, I would say it can be concluded that learning functional morphology, okay, takes time. And once functional morphology is learned quite well, and syntax, semantics, or even like pragmatics in the second language, okay, can be acquired quite smoothly then. Now, let's move on to the last part, which is the pedagogical implications then. So I would like to raise some suggestions to all of you. The first suggestion that I would like to make will be increasing student involvement and focus on morpheme usage in English lessons then. So actually, the communicative approach has been promoted by the attraction B field of the Hong Kong SARS government in typical Hong Kong ESL classrooms, as it can combine with the task-based teaching in the mainstream schooling system then. However, it can be believed that a form-focused approach is still quite common among the local English primary and secondary school teachers setting them. It is interesting to note that such a grammar-centered approach does not align with the ESL pedagogical framework proposed by the Curriculum Development Council in Hong Kong, which suggests that grammatical learning is only meaningful and purposeful if it is used in games or in effective communication, rather than for the mastery of individual language forms. However, local teachers may feel that their grammar-centered approach will be more useful for the student assessment success. After all, assessing grammar suits objective and clear scoring, when assessing communication is more subjective and trickier. Combining a communicative approach with the suggested functional morpheme focus could be the solution to meet the need for grammatical accuracy for assessment success, while still developing communicative approach communicative ability at the same time. So the second possible way that we can get the job done will be the integration of morpheme awareness activities in English lessons. So actually, the morphological awareness can impact both language and literacy, especially in vocab when reading and writing. So due to the implementation of Hong Kong's policy of inclusion, so the local mainstream schools should admit the students with the SEM backgrounds. So according to some of the psychologists here, so children with learning disabilities tend to make some errors in morphemes, especially in the writing, and they will show poorer command of past tense usage, the verbal inflectional usage then, in the writing then as well. So I would say that through the integration of morpheme awareness activities, and actually the second language SEN learners can be well equipped themselves in identifying correct functional morphology and recognizing the underlying meanings that the verbal inflectional morpheme bear at the morphological level. And also the L2 learners' reading capability could be also further enhanced if they can grasp knowledge of functional morphology quite well. So lastly, when it comes to the local policy making, the Hong Kong education system seems to be exam-oriented and assessment-based, and many candidates will either take the DSE public examination or even the IELTS exam every year as to fulfill the certain English language requirement, the entry requirements set by the universities, or even some of the continuing education bodies offering like associate degree or even like high diploma programs in Hong Kong. Candidates' grammatical accuracy is very important since both local English teachers or even like public examination governing bodies focus on assessments that value and is heavily weighted towards language accuracy. Therefore, I would say a theory like the bottleneck hypothesis can dramatically influence successful pedagogical practice in this local ESL teaching. So thank you for listening, and here comes the references. If you do have any questions, feel free to raise me some questions there. Okay, thank you, bye.